What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome to my Forma building guide for this month's Hall of Forms featuring Brave Marth, Plegian Tiki, Plegian Katarina, and Plegian male Kris. We're going to be having 12 new skills added into the Hall of Forms pool, including the new healer skills, but I'm not sure when we're going to be getting our next healer to actually use them. So let us begin with Brave Marth. He's definitely going to be one of those units which a lot of people are going to be trying to get because he is a Chooser Legends unit, a very popular merge project, and he's going to be getting a weapon refined this year in September. So this could be a really good chance for you to grab some premium skills on him because he can definitely use some new skills. And Genesis Falchion is a pretty nice weapon, and after the weapon refine, hopefully it can be even better because the competition in terms of these Sword Infantry units is definitely really stacked. So Genesis Falchion does give him -1 special cooldown, and it is effective on dragons, and then he's going to be able to get +5 to all of his stats, and depending on the total value of buffs on 3 allies with the highest total buffs, he can pretty much get different effects. If the value is 10 or above, then he's able to get the null follow-up effect, and if the value is 25 or above, then he's able to get additional +5 attack and heal 5 HP per attack, and finally, if the value is 60 or more, then he's able to get the Vantage effect. So this definitely makes him a pretty unique unit because he can run something like Time Pulse 4 or Special Spiral 4 and basically try to Vantage sweep with a Shining Emblem. And Shining Emblem is a pretty nice special that does scale off his speed, so he's going to be able to do a lot of damage by using his speed productively, and he definitely needs a weapon refine that can help him get even more speed because Sword Infantry units are all about the speed. So if you're a big fan of using Brave Marth and you want to get some premium skills on him and make him ready for the weapon refine, then you can definitely try and get some of these skills. So you can either try to get Godlike Reflexes or Vital Astra for this special. Both are good options, but I do prefer having Godlike Reflexes a bit more because Vital Astra, does scale off base of the speed, and he already has Shining Emblem, which also scales off the speed. Now Vital Astra does give you the, damage reduction, but the damage reduction from Godlike Reflexes is not pierceable. So I personally prefer having Godlike Reflexes, and you can also run Attack Speed Finish 4 on him as a pretty nice melee option. But if you do want to use them in Aether Raid's offense as a Vantage unit, and if you don't really like the recalled skill of Distant Pressure, then Distant Dart or Distant Ferocity are both, pretty good options if you want to do that role. But if you just want to get something different than a Distant Counter skill, then Attack Speed Finish is definitely going to be the best pickup. You can also get Close Call 4 in the slot B as a God Sword because speed is everything. There are going to be a lot more faster units than Brave Marth, and we already have such fast units that having that speed debuff from Close Call 4 and the Phantom Speed is really helpful. So you can definitely try and get that, and you can also try and get Special Spiral 4, although we already have Time Pulse 4 which can loop his Shining Emblem. So that's why I do like a tier 4 damage reduction skill like Close Call 4 on him, so that he can get even more damage reduction and basically get that Phantom Speed, which is going to be helping him quite a lot as a God Sword. And Time Pulse 4 is basically going to be the best Lotsy option so that he can loop his Shining Emblem, and this is definitely one of his best skills. This is a pretty standard build for Marth that you can try and get, and there are definitely other options as well which I listed here. Like if you want to pierce through damage reduction, then Special Spiral 4 is going to be an option. But overall, as we are seeing the meta, I think that Close Call 4 is going to be pretty good. So that's the Brave Marth that you can try and get. This is the first time that we have got a legendary unit in Hall of Forms. So I guess the Hall of Forms art finally makes sense now because we're getting legendary units. So Legendary Tiki is the first legendary unit in Hall of Forms, and she does have a weapon refine already, so you can try and get that and save some divine dues. She's going to be coming with her base kit already, so you can definitely try and mix up some things and get other skills for her. So Divine Mist is effective on dragon units, and it does have Distant Counter built in, and then she can inflict penalty on foes' attack by 75% of the total buffs on her defense and resistance in combat. So with everyone too does have pretty good synergy with that, as it does give you the visible buffs and also to the allies within 2 spaces. And she already has Far Save built into with everyone too, which does actually give her +4 to all of her stats. So she can function as a decent Far Save unit, but there are just so many better Far Save units out there. But if you're trying to merge her up, then this can definitely be a really good option to pick up some premium skills and also get a merge, which is definitely going to be helping you if you're trying to plus and merge her. That is going to be saving you the orb cost to ultimately plus and merge, and that is an amazing thing while also getting the premium skills. So if you're spending Forma Soul on her, then it depends on what kind of investment you've already done on her. If you haven't really refined her weapon, then you can just do that and save 200 divine dues. And if you've already refined her weapon, then you can just try and get some premium breath, like surprise breath maybe, and that could be decent. Ultimately, her weapon doesn't really matter too much, and neither does her slotsy skill or special, because she already has far save with everyone, and you can just try and get near save as an alternate option. Now, this build might seem a bit wacky with distant defense 4 and near save, but distant defense 4 is for when she's going to be using her preferred slotsy skill, and that can help her in far save tanking. You can also try and run defense res unity because she is going to be buffing herself up, so in case she gets panicked, that could be an option that you can also try and run. And mirror stance 3 is also going to be an option to get the guard effect. And hardy fighter is by far the best slot B option to pick up, because it is going to be enabling you to run Sacred Cowl and have that damage reduction from it. Unfortunately, Tiki has come early in Hollow Forms before we got Armored Beacon or even Vengeful Fighter 4, so Hardy Fighter is going to be her best option, especially at low merges. And if you've already given that to her, then you can try and get Special Fighter 4 or Dragon Sire 4. Both of them are going to be the options. And again, slotsy doesn't really matter too much because she's going to be using her preferred skill, but there are not too many good skills out there for dragon armor, so you can just get near save as an alternate option. Maybe that could be useful in some limited hero battles, I'm not sure, but there's not really too many options. And Distant Defense 4 definitely helps you in tanking because so many threats are going to be having visible attack buffs, so ignoring those visible attack buffs is going to be really good while still getting extra bulk. So this is a build for a low merge or unmerged Tiki, and if you already have plus and merge her, or you're on the way to plus and merging her, then you can definitely try and run this build. So this is only recommended for like max investment Legendary Tiki that does have speed stacking. Now Legendary Tiki is not some insanely fast dragon, but still speed stacking can be very beneficial because you can try and get Savvy Fighter on her and basically deny follow-up attacks from many of the threats. So it's not the worst thing, especially when she gets even more speed from her preferred slotsy and then from Divine Mist. So you can try and run Stance 3 so that you can get the guard effect and also get some extra speed. You can also try and run attack speed unity on her so that she can get that unity effect, or even Kestrel Stance. It really depends on you and your luck in Hollow Forms. And Savvy Fighter is going to be the main skill to pick up because having this kind of skill on a speedy max investment Tiki is going to be really helpful unless you really want Hardy Fighter or some kind of other skill. But having the full null follow-up of Savvy Fighter while speed stacking is definitely pretty nice. And again, just as a alternate option, you can try and get the near save and maybe try and get attack speed near save so that you can be a speedy near save armor. But yeah, this is pretty much going to be the option if you have her at plus and merge or you're very close to it, and if you plan on speed stacking on her, as a lot of max investment Legendary Tikis do. Plegian male Kris is a Grail unit, and if you're trying to plus and merge him, and if you do get him as a Forma unit, then you can save 500 Grails, and you can also get some premium skills on him, which he's definitely going to be appreciating. He is also going to be appreciating Arcane Downfall, and Ganglot is actually going to be appearing in this month's Mythic Hero banner. So if you're a big Kris fan, then you can get some premium skills on him, and also try and get a Ganglot from the Mythic Hero banner so that you can give him the Arcane Downfall, because arcane weapons are not going to be appearing in the Hall of Forms until the original wielder of that arcane weapon is also in that same Hall of Form, which is pretty much never going to be happening. So he's basically a fast axe cavalier who can definitely make use of some premium skills. So if you're trying to get him, then Petalfall Vase Plus is pretty much going to be the best weapon for him that you can get from the Hall of Forms, and it is the next best option if you cannot give him the arcane weapon, because Petalfall Vase Plus does give you the full null follow-up, which is absolutely amazing. And then you can try and get attack speed clash on him so that he can get the max offenses and also the debuff neutralization. But attack speed catch 4 can also work out, and if you want to have a more player phase build, then Surge Sparrow is also an option. But I definitely like the clash skills on the cavaliers, and you can get a near trace skill on his slot B, but I do like Flow and Trace because it does give you the half null follow-up. And even though that is redundant with Petalfall Vase Plus, it is actually going to be helpful if you do give him the Arcane Downfall. So Flow and Trace can be a pretty nice premium skill, and you can also run Attack Speed Menace so that he can get the debuffs. But his slot C is pretty flexible, so you can also try and get Speed Smoke 4. Speed Smoke 4 can give him the damage reduction, so it can definitely make him a bit more bulky for the mixed phase. And if you're going to be running some high cooldown special with Arcane Downfall that does give you these special charges, then Surge Sparrow could be an option as well. But this is basically going to be the main Kris build that you can try and get. Plegian Katarina is the final unit from this batch, and she's got Fell Flame View as her preferred weapon, which does give her -1 special cooldown and has got the full Plegian effect. So unlike the other Plegian weapons, it's not just focusing on just 2 stats. Instead, she can get the Plegian effect on all the stats, which is definitely really good when you pair her up with other teammates who can debuff the opponents like a Versa or like Yune. So that is going to be pretty helpful for her so that she can get even more stats with this Plegian weapon. Now, because this is a Plegian weapon, it does have the solo condition. So that's why she does come with the solo skill, but you can definitely try and change her build for some more premium skills. And she is going to be like solid 2 years away from the weapon refine. So it is going to be a long time until she gets a refine. But if you really like her and if you just want to get her, then this could be your chance. But other than that, she doesn't really stand out too much as a flying mage. So you can try and give her some other weapons like Magical Lantern Plus, for example, which can definitely work out if you don't really like the solo playstyle of her preferred weapon. And Flora Guide and Drifting Grace are also the options which are offensive in nature. So for her slot A, you can try and get Remote Sparrow because we already have a bunch of attack speed catch for in the Divine Codes 4. So Remote Sparrow is a pretty nice rare option that you can try and get, and you can also give her a bit more bulk in the player phase when she's going to be initiating, so that damage reduction can be really helpful. Unfortunately, mage flyers don't really have too many options, so you can try and get the Fortress skill on her, or you can try and get a tier 3 chill skill like Chill Speed Resistance, and then run something else in her slot C instead of running a menace skill. So the tier 3 chill skills are also pretty good with her Plegian weapon, and you can also run the menace skill if you're not going to be going with the chill skill in the slot B. So the menace skill is going to be good for the player phase build and also for getting the debuffs with her Plegian weapon. You can also try and get speed resistance hold 4 if you're just running a chill skill in slot B and you want to just stack up the debuffs. And Panic Smoke is also a pretty good option, which does synergize well with her Plegian weapon. Attack speed hold 4 is not the best option on her because she does have the solo condition in her preferred weapon, so that's why these other options are much better, especially so that you can get some debuff going on and then function with her Plegian weapon. If you're going to be max investing into her, then you can definitely try and run speed preempt on her so that she can vantage the range opponents, and you can definitely try and get some speed debuffs going on with speed smoke 4 and the damage reduction helping you in case you don't really kill something. So it's kind of similar to the playstyle of Brave Marth. I would only recommend this for like high investment Katarina with like merges and dragon flowers, because every single speed point is really helpful to productively use speed preempt, and that is going to be the builds for all of the new Forma units this month. The next month we're going to be having Shadows of Valentia, and that roster is really not all that big. Blue has the most candidates, but green and red are pretty dry, so this is my educated guess if I had to narrow it down. I do think that Shadows of Valentia Pala has a pretty good chance because she's a pretty solid unit that can be given out in holo forms, and even just a one-off copy of her can work out really well in like Aetherite's offense for Vantage Sweeping or for Summoner duels. And I think that Spring Delthea could also be an option here because she is in the Divine Codes, so they can definitely try and give her out. And because green doesn't really have too many options, it has to be between Luthier, Atlas, or Brigand Boss. And I do think that Luthier and Atlas have more chances. Maybe by the time you're able to redeem this Forma Soul and get Forma Luthier, we're going to be having Green Arcane Tome, so it could be a way for them to sell that. And for the colorless pool, it's either going to be Duma or Legendary Alm because they are scheduled for the next month, and the holoforms is also happening next month, so it has to be one of them, and maybe in the best case scenario both of them, but I really doubt they're going to be giving out like 2 high value units in their eyes in the same batch. So I do think that Duma probably has more chances because Legendary Alm is actually really good, and even just a one-off copy of him at like +1 merge is insanely like destructive. So I do think that Duma has more chances, and the defense mythic it's not really all that insane honestly to be given out. And they can also have Valentine Conrad in the red pool because he's also in the Divine Codes, and Zeke could also be an option because again he's in the Divine Codes. I do think that Atlas has more chances because he doesn't have a preferred weapon, so that you'll have to pick up an Arcane Downfall for him. So that is pretty much my speculation for the next month. Come back to this video next month to see if I was right or wrong. And if you enjoyed this video, and if you do have friends who are going to be building up any of these units, then make sure to share this video with them. And if you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like and a comment. Helps me tremendously, and if you really enjoyed, you could always support me directly by using super thanks down below or by becoming a YouTube member. And for more Fae videos, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. because YouTube sub boxes take about as much time as it took for the first legendary unit to appear in Hall of Forms. So with that said, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.